Hello friends, this is Harish Nagar and today I am going to talk about Raja Rao. Guys, Raja Rao was born in 1908 and he died in 2006. If you look at his life, you will find that his view of life is characterized by spiritual vision. And this particular spiritual vision was influenced by his grandfather, who was extremely inclined towards spirituality. Apart from this spiritual vision in Raja Rao's life, we also find that he went on a long exile from India from 1929. So where did he go? If he will not in India after 1929, he went to France in order to do a research on the mysticism of the West. So he was trying to work on the mysticism of the West and therefore he went to France. Now in this particular lecture, I shall be talking about 5 works of Raja Rao. The first work that we are going to look at is the most important work, that is Kanthapura. This was published in the year 1938. It is a political novel based on the Gandhian struggle for freedom in the Indian villages. So you can see again, not only in Mulk Raj Anand and R.K. Narayan's work, we have seen Mahatma Gandhi's view and Gandhian consciousness coming up, but even in the work of Raja Rao, we have the Gandhian struggle for freedom coming up as an important theme. So the story is of a South Indian village which is named as Kanthapura, and style of narration is known as Harikatha. If you are inclined towards spirituality, you must be knowing that Harikatha is a story talking about the life of God. So the story of Kanthapura is also modeled on the same pattern and it uses the style of Harikatha. Now Raja Rao has used Kannada variety of English in this particular work. So basically he is experimenting with the English language and he is trying to Indianize the English language, and this Indianization of English language can be used as a symbol of struggle against the hegemony of British English. So rather than looking at English as something which is the only used by Britishers, Raja Rao's effort was to Indianized English language so that we can also adopt English as a medium in India. So we are going to look at the story, the plot of Kanthapura, and this is one of the most important work in English literature. So I will try to talk about each and every important aspect. The novel is narrated in the form of Sthal Purana. So remember, Sthal Purana and Harikatha, these two things, Sthal Purana and Harikatha, had very important influence on Kanthapura. The novel is set in Kanthapura. I have already told you it's a South Indian village and it is told by an old woman whose name is Achaka. So Achaka is the narrator and she is an old woman of the village. Now first of all, what you need to understand is that the story is talking about the caste system of India, because for the first time when the novel opens, we are introduced to the dominated classes like Brahmins. They are known as the privileged section of the society, and on the other side we have a lower caste which is Parihas. Parihas are marginalized people, lower caste people. The central character of the novel is Murthy, who is a young Brahman. He leaves the city to study, and when he come back he finds that the entire city is extremely different, because when he went to study he became familiar with the Gandhian philosophy and he began living a Gandhian lifestyle. What is the Gandhian lifestyle? He started wearing homespun, khadi, and then he discarded the foreign clothes and he was speaking out against the caste system. He is saying that the caste system is not good, and this make the village priest to turn against Murthy and he excommunicate him. So when Murthy comes to the village and revolt against the caste system and talk about the Gandhian lifestyle, the priest of the village, who is of course a Brahmin, he turn against Murthy and he says that you are going to leave the city to word itself. Now when Murthy's mother Narasma gets to know that his son is being excommunicated from the city, she dies at that particular moment. After this, Murthy started living with an educated widow whose name is Rangma. So Murthy started to live with a widow named Rangma. Rangma is an active participant in the Indian independence movement. Now what he does is that Murthy uses Harikatha and other legendary stories to spread the message of freedom in the orthodox society of the village. So he is trying that by telling the story of all these Puranas and everything, he is able to teach people what real independence means and how to get over all these vices of the Indian society. Now Murthy then invited by Brahmin clerk at a coffee estate, and this coffee estate is known as Scuffington Coffee Estate, and these Brahman invite Murthy to come to this coffee estate and create an awareness of Gandhian teaching among the Parihas coolies. and all these coolies must be taught about the Gandhian teaching because they are from lower caste. They don't know what is Mahatma Gandhi and what is Indian struggle all about. So he is invited there. Now when Murthy arrives there, he is beaten by the policeman whose name is Bade Khan. But the coolies stand up for Murthy and beat Bade Khan. So now if you look at how this thing is taking place, you will realize that although Brahmins and the social elite people, they are against Murthy because Murthy is trying to talk about equality, trying to say that all these people, the lower class people, should also be given equal opportunities, and this is against Brahmins. On the other hand, we have the coolies from the Parihas section who has started supporting Murthy on his views. So when a policeman Bade Khan tries to beat Murthy, all the coolies from the Parihas section, they all stand up for Murthy and they beat Bade Khan in return. Now because of this action, they all are thrown out of the Skeffington Coffee Estate where all these coolies were working. They all are thrown out of that estate because they have revolted against Bade Khan. Now Murthy continues to fight against injustice and social inequality, and he becomes like Gandhi or local Gandhi. Now guys, when I was talking about the lecture on Mahatma Gandhi, I did mention that in many of the works of Indian writers, you will find that either they have made Gandhi come in their novel as a special character or giving a special appearance, or maybe they have sketched certain people who have become local Gandhian leaders or who are imbibed by the values of Gandhi. So the same thing you can see in this particular work in which Murthy is now becoming as a Gandhi. Although he is depressed over the violence that happened in the state, he takes the responsibility and goes on a 3-day fast. Now just like Mahatma Gandhi, whenever in Chora Chori incident when the police officers were burned down in the police station, Mahatma Gandhi went on a fast saying that this went wrong and I am going to repent for the sins that Indian people have done. The same thing can be seen in the character of Murthy. Now British government accuses Murthy of provoking the townspeople to inflict violence, and that is why they arrest him. Though the committee is willingly to pay his bills, Murthy refuses their money and says, I don't want your money. It's fine if Britishers imprison me. While Murthy spent next 3 months in prison, the women of Kanthapura takes charge. So for the first time, we have the important role of women coming in the Indian struggle. So we find that all the women of Kanthapura, they are taking charge, and Rangma, the educated widow with whom Murthy was living, she instills a sense of patriotism among all the women by telling them stories of notable women from Indian society. So Harikatha legend is again used in order to tell everybody that we need to fight for our own rights. If you remember this movie named Padmavat, in that movie the last thing you find that Deepika Padukone, she is addressing the entire women of Rajput community, telling them that we need to do the Johar because we are Rajput women and we have our own dignity. So that kind of patriotism was filled by Rangma in all the women of Kanthapura. Now they face police brutal, and also there are incidents of rape and assault. There are villages which are attacked and burned, and when finally Murthy is released from prison, he is greeted by all the local town people who are now united regardless of caste. So novel ends with Murthy and the town looking to the future and planning to continue their fight for independence. So very beautiful novel talking about Indian independence, or talking about Gandhian values and talking about the role of women. And there are a lot of important characters in the story as well. I would like to name a few important ones. Please make a note of it. We have Murthy, we all know. Then the second one is Rangma. We also looked at Achka, who is the narrator. We look at Murthy's mother, Narsamma. Apart from that, there is another character called Ratna, and she is a young widow's daughter. Then we have Patel Ranga Gowda. He is the revenue collector. Then we have Kechma. Kechma is another important character. Basically, there is a mythical story about Kechma. Kechma is a goddess, and this goddess protects the village from the demon in Sthal Puran. So in Sthal Purana, we have a goddess Kechma, and she protects the village from a demon, and that mythical story is being used by Raja Rao in Kanthapura as well. And apart from that, we also know Bade Khan is another important character in the novel. Now guys, we move on to the next work, which is The Serpent and the Rope. This was published in the year 1960, and guys, it talk about the story of Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy is a young Hindu, and he is living in France to do research in history. So he is actually from India, but then he goes to France to do his research in history. And in France, he marries a lady who is a history lecturer and whose name is Medlive. So he married Medlive, who is a lecturer in history. But this relationship of Ramaswamy and Medlive ends very soon, because he comes to know that there is a gap between Indian and Western concept of marriage in love. So Medlive is very different in her values and in her opinion about what is a good marriage or love should be. So they separate after some time. Then after he leaves Medlive, he meets another girl called Savitri. Now Savitri is a Cambridge educated modern girl who is very Indian to the core. So though she is educated in a foreign country, but still she is very Indian in her core. So his love for Savitri developed beyond the physical, and it becomes an instrument for the higher love. So that Teutonic relationship is being shared by Ramaswamy and Savitri, and the novel ends with Ramaswamy setting out to go to his guru, who alone can destroy his ego. So there are things and episodes which happen in the novel when he finds that he is becoming extremely egoistic, and he decided that he want to go to his guru who can destroy his ego. So the theme of true love and marriage leads to greater and larger theme of the self-knowledge. So the serpent and the rope basically symbolizes self-knowledge, and you will see how the novel adopts the Puranic structure, and it is also using the rhythm of Sanskrit speech on English. So in Kanthapura, we saw that he was experimenting with Kannada variety of English, and on the other hand, in The Serpent and the Rope, he is experimenting with Sanskrit speech on English. And this work is a very autobiographical in nature, because we did mention in the beginning that Raja Rao went to France in order to do research on the mysticism of West. So you could see some autobiographical element in The Serpent and the Rope work. This particular work made Raja Rao Sahitya Academy winner. Now guys, the next work is The Cat and the Shakespeare, A Tale of India. This was published in 1965. Now it is a metaphysical comedy. So basically it is a story of a cat and two clerks. One is called Ramakrishna Pai, and the second clerk is Ramakrishna Pai's neighbor, whose name is Govindan Nair. Now Ramakrishna has a dream of marrying a girl called Shanta, and he also wants to build a big house, whereas Govindan Nair wants to devote himself in understanding his true self, or we can say self-realization, and then he wants to complete surrender himself to the universe, and he called universe as Mother Cat. Now guys, what happened next is that when the boss of Govindan Nair dies, we get to know that his boss died because of the cat was sitting on his head, and people think that it is the cat who is the cause of the death of the boss, and therefore cat is trialed in the court. This is a very comical scene, because if an animal kills a man, the animal is trialed in the court, and the court has to pass judgment on that particular animal. So that particular incident is very comic. Later guys, we find out that cat symbolizes the cat-hold theory, which is also called Marjara Nyay. So cat symbolizes Marjara Nyay, which is a cat-hold theory, and it comes from the Marjara Kishore Nyay of Bhakti. And now talk about it in Hindi. Bhakti के जो हमारे different type हैं, उनमें से एक type है Marjara Kishore Nyay of Bhakti, and the story revolves around Marjara Nyay, and Marjara means cats. So Marjara Nyay is also called cat-hold theory in English, and the epigraph has been taken from a very important text of Indian philosophy, which is called Atmanan Dagura. So from that particular text, they have taken the epigraph, and the epigraph is, there is a scent and beauty of the flower but who knows what a flower really is? So the story might be appearing very confusing to you. I know this. I'm repeating this story. This story talk about three different things. It is talking about two clerks, Ramakrishna Pai and Govindan Nair, and how they are going to lead their lives, like what are their expectation from life and what kind of philosophy do they adhere on. Now on the other hand, we have this entire cat episode coming in play when we have the boss of Govindan Nair who dies, when the cat sits on his head and the cat is trialed in the court. So this is the second comic scene, and the third is the deeper symbolic influence of the entire story, which is talking about the Marjara Nyay or the Marjara Kishore Nyay of Bhakti. So this is a very symbolic thing, and it talks about the cat hold theory, where Raja Rao is trying to put forward the पॉइंट दैट हर चीज को डीपली स्टडी करना जरूरी है. बिकॉज फॉर एग्जाम्पल फ्लावर को हमें दूर से देखकर लगता है कि इट इज सो ब्यूटीफुल एंड द सेंट वाज सो नाइस, बट वी रियली डोंट नो व्हाट द फ्लावर really is. Everything is Maya. This flower is just an illusion. It is not reality. That kind of story is the Marjara Nyay Kishore Nyay of Bhakti. Now Shakespeare in the title refers to cat and Shakespeare story. So Shakespeare की बहुत सारी story में cat का reference है. So cat basically is used in order to talk about the Shakespearean stories. Now guys, we move on to the next work of Raja Rao, which is Comrade Kirillov. This was published in 1976. Now, it was originally written in English, but then it was first published in French, and Kirillov in the novel is Padmabha Iyer. So, Kirillov in the title represents this man, Padmabha Iyer, who is an Indian intellectual, and this novel, Comrade Kirillov, is dedicated to Fyodor Dostoevsky's work, The Possessed, or the devil. So Fyodor Dostoevsky, the great European writer, has written a work called The Possessed. So this particular work is dedicated to that work, The Possessed, and the novel is set in 1930s and 1940s in London. Kirillov expresses his opinion on communism. So we have people in this novel who are talking about communism, talking about Indian freedom struggle, and we find that the central character, Comrade Kirillov, marries Irene, and this girl Irene share his views on death, because we find that the moment Comrade Kirillov marries Irene, soon this girl Irene, she dies. After the death of Irene, Comrade Kirillov moved to Moscow. Though a communist, Kirillov is presented as a true Indian in every sense, and throughout the novel we have a lot of episodes when Kirillov is expressing his opinions on communism, and he's also talking about the Indian freedom struggle, showing the link between communism and the Indian freedom struggle. So that was Comrade Kirillov by Raja Rao. Finally guys, we move on to the last work, which is The Chess Master and His Moves. This was published in the year 1988. This is a story of an impossible love between Shiv Rama Shastri and Suzanne. So a love story between Shiv Rama Shastri and French actress Suzanne. Now Shiv Rama Shastri turns inward to search meaning and embarks on a metaphysical exploration about his own life and talk about self-realization. So again, the theme of metaphysical love and how loves lead to self-realization is evident in this particular work. So guys, in this lecture I have talked about 5 works of Raja Rao, namely Kanthapura, published in 1938, The Serpent and the Rope, published in 1960, The Cat and Shakespeare, A Tale of India, published 1965, Comrade Kirillov, published 1976, and The Chess Master and His Moves, published in 1980. So that's it for today's lecture guys.